You're listening to an AppleViz podcast. Hello and welcome. My name is Thomas Donville, also known as Anonymous. In this cast, I'm going to introduce you to an iOS app called Bookshare Reader. This is a free app. Of course, it does have a catch-22, and that is you have to be a subscribed member of the Bookshare.org site. Bookshare is like a library service that is available to many different countries. Over probably, I think, about 70 some countries are available to access the Bookshare.org. It has over 1 million books for you to enjoy and read. What makes this service a little different is that it is a service. Not only do you have to pay on an annual subscription on a yearly basis, but if you are a teacher or a student, I believe it's free of cost. More information, of course, is on Bookshare.org. It is not an audiobook service. It is more of an EPUB service. What does that mean? That means it's an electronic format. So you're downloading an electronic format, and this gives you very small imprint. So it's very small in size, and it doesn't take up a lot of space on your iOS device. However, you will be using its built-in iOS voices. So that's the nice part about it, is that you got many voices to choose from, whatever you choose to use to read the books for you. I like this because sometimes I'm not able to find a particular audiobook. Bookshare always seems to be my second go-to to find some new books that have not just been read or doesn't have available for audiobooks. So Bookshare is a great resource for you to check out. Nonetheless, Bookshare decided to release an app just for their subscribers called Bookshare Reader. It is a very simple, easy interface to use, great for beginners or for people that just wants a no-nonsense app that just gets you what you want, read the books, and come back to whenever you want. It's not bloated, it doesn't have tons of feature, and that's what it's geared toward, is simplicity. So without further ado, let's jump into Bookshare Reader and kind of give you an idea if it's something that you might be interested in subscribing for yourself and what feature this has to offer to you.
Bookshare Reader. Double tap to open.
All right, so let's go begin in doing a one-finger double tap to open up Bookshare here.
Bookshare Reader.
And let's start with the tabs along the bottom of the app itself. That's a great place to start. There are two tabs. There's a bottom left-hand corner and the bottom right-hand corner. So let's start with the bottom left.
Selected. My library. Tab. 1 of 2. Button.
That is your library. So this is a great place to start, and you can see any of the recent books or past books that you have downloaded while you were a Bookshare subscriber. You can see the previous books and you can download them. You also see your download area where they are your downloaded books that are either waiting to be read or you're in the process of reading. And then lastly has the search, and we will be getting into that. Now, bottom right hand corner in the last tab,
Profile. Tab.
is the
2 of 2.
profile.
Button.
There's not much really in this area. It's just basically just focus what you're logged in with and being able to change your preference in language. I'll show you what it looks like and what it contains in here. So just double tap that tab.
Profile. Tab. 2 of 2.
As I double tap that with one finger, I'm going to go to the top half of my phone here by doing 4 fingers tap at the top.
Log out. Button.
You have the option to log out. So when you first download Bookshare Reader and you get it installed and you run it for the very first time, you have to sign in with your credentials for Bookshare. And this is the option where you can log out if you feel like you want to get out of this and get into another account, or you just simply want to log out and delete the app. You give the option to log out. As I swipe to the right, you're going to get some information about yourself, who you are, and the email that you use for your credentials.
Profile. My account. Name. Thomas Donville.
And that's me. And then the next one is your email.
Email. Thomas at
I'm going to stop there so I don't get my whole email address out there for you. And so that's where your email address is.
Preferences.
And now we get into the preferences, and really there isn't anything in here other than the language. You go to the right here.
Preferred language.
and you can select your preferred language. Now, obviously, it's going to take your default one. In this case, it's English, but if you decide to change it, you just swipe one more to the right.
Select language button.
And there's the button for you to be able to select the language that you prefer. Now go to the right and it'll tell us what my default language is set to.
English.
And it's set to English. Go to the right here.
App version.
And then we get to the app version. And at this time, the podcast, I believe, is 102. So let's take a look at that.
Version 102.
And there she is. Now, that is pretty much it. As you go to the right here,
Need help or have a feedback?
you have the feedback section here.
Contact us. Tap here to go to the Contact Us form on Bookshare.org.
Right there, you can double tap with one finger, and then it'll take you out to your default browser. So in my case, it's Safari. So open up Safari, and it'll take you to the Bookshare.org contact page for the app.
My Library tab.
And then we're
1 of
back
2.
down to the My Library tab, and that's the next section we're going to head into. So double tap that.
My Library tab. 1 of 2.
Let's start at the top here and kind of show you what is located at the very top here. Once again, do a 4-finger tap at the top half of the device.
Search for a great book. Text field.
And we will be
Double
getting
tap
to
to
this
edit.
area. This is where you search for your book. And now let's go to the right here.
Selected. Recent books. Tab.
All right, so you hear that as a tab. Yes, you have 2 tabs at the top as well. You have the recent books, or it more like your previous books. I'm going to say, yeah, I guess it is my recent book, but it also contains some old books that you read a long time ago. And then the next tab over to the right of this
Downloads. Tab.
is the download tab. And that's where your books that you're currently downloaded on your device or you're currently reading is located and lives. Now that the recent tab has been selected, what you're going to see as you swipe to the right is the books that you previously read or previously downloaded. And I noticed that it shows the oldest books towards the top, and as you swipe to the right, you get to the more recent books that you have previously downloaded. So let's start with one of my books I have read and is now my previous recent tab here.
Mercy by David Baldacci. Press to read if downloaded, or view details if not downloaded.
So here is the book called Mercy. It tells you by the author itself. And if you want to double tap that, you can get more details. And if you go to the right here,
Download Mercy button.
you have the download button. So if you want to re-download that book, feel free to double tap that. Otherwise, if you just want to see what it's about or you forgot what it is, and not only that, but you'll see this when we do our search and the download area, they all have the same screen, which is the information or detail screen of the book. So if I go back left here,
Mercy by David Baldacci. Press to read if downloaded, or view details if not downloaded.
let's double tap that.
Mercy.
And I'm going to tap at the top half once again
Back button.
until we get to the back button, which is at the top left there.
Book information. Heading.
And as you swipe to the right, you're going to get information about the book itself.
Mercy
There's the name of the book,
by David Baldacci.
the author,
Download Mercy button.
and then you get the option to either download
Read now button.
or read it now. They both do essentially the same thing. They both will download the book itself. The read now means it's going to go directly to the book. So you're going to go directly to the reader screen that allows you to read the book. Otherwise, the download will just simply download it and you will see it in the download tab. And yes, you'll be able to see that as well for the read it now option if you choose to do that. The next two is redundant, and it's more for low vision people. They can see that this is the download and the read it now button.
Download. Read now.
And then go to the right.
0 bytes.
Now, because it's not downloadable, obviously it's not taking up any space on the device, so it's 0 bytes. Now, once you download it, it's going to show how much it contains and what is taken up in terms of space. But the great news is very small. Electronic formats are very small, and that is a big difference between that and audiobooks, where audiobooks is huge and you have to have quite a bit of space, where a electronic format is very small. And because they're electronic, this is great for Braille users out there that want to be able to learn or read things in Braille. So you get your Braille display out, and you'll be able to use this software, and you'll be able to read it right there on your Braille display.
Synopsis.
And then obviously you have the synopsis, what is the book is about. I'll have it read just a short bit. It is pretty lengthy here, but I'll just kind of cut it off here in a moment here.
FBI agent Atlee Pine's harrowing search for her long-lost sister Mercy reaches a boiling point in this breakneck thriller from #1 New York Times bestselling author David Baldacci. For her entire life, FBI agent Atlee Pine has been searching for her twin sister, Mercy, who was abducted at the age of 6 and never seen again. Mercy's disappearance left behind a damaged family that later shattered beyond repair when Atlee's parents inexplicably abandoned her. Now, after a perilous investigation that nearly proved fatal, Atlee has finally discovered not only the reason behind her parents' abandonment and Mercy's kidnapping, but also the most promising breakthrough yet. Proof that...
I'm going to stop it there with 2 fingers. Tap there, and that paused it, and that gives you the synopsis of the book. And if you go to the right one more time here.
Copyright 2021.
And of course, that tells you when it was published. To get back out of here, just go to the top left here to the back button.
Back button.
Double tap that.
Search for a great book. Text
and then
field.
we're back at the top. And then, of course, we are still in the recent tab, and you can see what other books you have. So I'll kind of show you just a few of my books, and then we'll head over to the download tab.
The Enemy by Lee Child. Press to read if downloaded, or view details if not. Download The Enemy. Odessa C by Clive Cussler. Press to read if downloaded, or download Odessa C. But The Bone Labyrinth by James Rollins. Press to read if downloaded. Download The Bone Labyrinth.
And so you get to see all the books you had in previously, so that kind of reminds you or help you remind you what you read. All right, let's go back to the top. Let's go back over to the download tab now.
Search for a great book.
And to
Text
the right.
field selected. Recent books. Downloads. Tab.
Double tap this.
Downloads. Tab.
And we'll get to see the books that are downloaded on your iOS device. So in my case, I am currently reading a book.
The Kaiser's Web by
The
Steve
Kaiser's
Berry.
Web.
Press to read. More button.
And then you get the More button instead of the Download. It's because it's already downloaded. What this More button does, if you double tap this.
More. Downloaded book options.
You get one option, that is.
Delete the Kaiser's Web from device. Menu
that is
item.
how you delete the book off your device. So you just double tap that to delete it. But since I don't want to delete it, I'll swipe one more to the right.
Cancel.
And
Menu
hit
item.
the cancel button.
Cancel. Menu item. The Kaiser's Web by Steve Berry. Press to read.
Okay. Let's go ahead and dive in this area. This is where it's going to take us to the reader page, and that allows us to see the book itself, and we'll be able to navigate it in different ways you want. I'll show that to you. I'm going to double tap this.
Return to library button.
All right. Top left is return to the library. And that takes you back out to the library page, or the main page that we were just at.
The Kaiser's Web.
As you swipe to the right, you're going to get the name of the book.
Settings button.
And there's that settings. This is kind of an odd place to put the settings. You would think they'll be under profile, under settings, or I think that would be a great place for setting. But this is the only place you can access to the settings. And we'll get back to that in a few.
Next.
Next takes you to the next chapter. So this book is based on chapters, and it will take you to the next chapter if you decide to double tap that.
Navigate through the book button.
And then you get to navigate through the book. Now, I have not started this, so let's go ahead and double tap this to show you what the navigate this book is all about. If you are ready to read it from first page and on, you just bypass this and go to the right.
Tap to go to the previous paragraph of the text button.
Where you get the previous paragraph.
Play button.
Play.
Tap to skip to the next paragraph of the text button.
And then just skip. So in this case, I am going to go to back to the navigation button.
Play. Tap to go to the previous. Navigate through the book button.
Double tap this.
Navigate through the. Double tap to dismiss pop-up window button.
Now, you don't have to do this at all. This just allows me to skip the introduction area and gets me straight to chapter 1, where I want to just get to the book. And this is broken down in a couple pieces here. I'm going to show you as you go to the right.
Go back to reader button. Book navigation selected. Table of contents, table of contents.
So table of
Tab.
contents is selected by default, and that is how we're going to be able to navigate through the book by chapters. If you want to do this or you want to reread a chapter or whatever not.
Bookmarks, bookmarks.
Bookmarks is an option. At this time, the podcast bookmark is not implemented. That is something coming in the future, and that'll be really handy to make a bookmark in certain part of the books or where you left off, or it's something you want to reread later, or if it's something important. Bookmarks is going to be a great option to have.
Book info, tab.
You got the book info. That is the tab where you are able to see what we saw before. It'll tell you the book, it'll tell you the author, and it'll tell you the size of the book. And if you want to look at that, feel free to do that. Now, for now, we got table of contents. So let's go to the right.
Cover.
We have the first chapter is a cover. So it's going to read the cover to us.
Also by Steve Barry. Title page. Imprint page. Dedication. Contents.
So you get the idea. There's a lot of things in the previous. I just want to get to the book. So I'm going to look for chapter 1.
Acknowledgements. Epigraph. Prologue. 3 days later.
There we go. So we're down to the first chapter, or really prologue would be a good place to start.
Prologue.
Let's double tap that with one finger.
Prologue.
Now, what you're going to see is when I tap at the top right,
Settings.
we got the settings. Now when you go to the right,
Previous. Prologue.
you got the prologue chapter. Now, did you hear that it says previous? You can double tap that and it'll take you to the last chapter or the last item it is to read. Now we get to the text itself. So if I tap around here,
He refused any after-office Secret Service. Danny Daniels liked the freedom of not being president of the United States. Make no mistake, he loved being president. And for 8 years he'd performed the job to the best of his ability. But he really cherished his life as it was now. Able to move about. Go where he wanted. When he wanted.
now, this is the text element of the book. And now you can use your Braille display and navigate through the book itself. Or if you're on iOS and you want to go by line by default, you just keep swiping to the right and it'll read one line at a time for you. Or you could just change
Lines.
to lines or
Words.
words instead of with your headers or your rotor. I can just now go by word.
He'd refused any after office secret.
As you can see, so you can go back and reread a word or character itself. So if you like to do it that method, or if you wanted to go ahead and play with the built-in TTS. Now I've already selected the voice for Zoe Enhance, and I'll be showing you how that is done within the settings. I'm going to go to the bottom center here at the bottom.
Play button.
Where you have the play button. If you double tap that, it'll read the book to you.
Pause.
Prologue. Estate of Bavaria, G. Ermini S. Atterday, J. on 8:10:40 a.m. Danny Daniels liked the freedom of not being president of the United States. Make no mistake, he loved being president, and for 8 years he'd performed the job to the best of his ability. But he really cherished his life as it was now.
Play.
One finger double tap to stop that. And then, remember where you left off, and you can come back to it and it will read it to you. Now, as I promised, is the settings, and this is pretty a comprehensive area that is something you want to probably check out and make different tweaks or setting changes to your liking. And most of the things in here are going to be with low vision people in mind. If you're low vision, what's the cool part when you hit the play button, what is happening is that it is highlighting the word as it reads it. So you can follow along with the book itself, or if you just like a different theme and you want it to be able to read in different colors, you get the option to do that within settings. Go to settings here.
Settings button.
One finger double tap.
Settings. Settings.
Now, we have quite a few tabs along the top here, and it's easier to navigate by just swiping to the right. There are a handful of things specifically for low vision folks, and there's one area that it would be great for those with voiceover that are completely blind. So let's go to the right.
Close settings modal button.
There's a close button, which is the top right.
Quick set tab selected. Tab.
There's a quick tab. Now the quick tab is going to be, it contains the most popular element. It's not going to contain everything you want to change, but quick is always the first one item. I'll show you a few of the tabs, what they contain in there, but I'm going to go ahead and show you all the tabs, and then we'll show you what's in the quick area that you can make changes quickly.
Audio tab unselected.
That's
Tab.
the one we're going to be focusing on next.
Text tab unselected. Tab.
If you want to decrease and change the text,
Page tab unselected. Tab.
page is the elements, the spacing, and etc.
Color tab unselected.
And
Tab.
the color themes is self-explanatory there.
Audio speed.
Now, the first item is the audio speed. So if you are wanting to slow things down or speed things up, this is where you come to do that.
Decrease audio speed to 80%. Button.
There's the option to decrease it to 80%.
Increase audio speed to 120%. Button.
Okay.
Selected. Set default audio speed to 100%. Button.
So it's now default to 100%, which is the normal speed.
100%.
And just to tell you what is set to.
Text size.
And here's for those with low vision. If you want to quickly change the text size, you come in here.
Decrease text size to 12 point. Button. Increase text size to 16 point. Button. Selected. Set text size to 14 point. Button.
And then I'll tell you what the default size is.
14 point.
And that's what it's currently set to.
Font.
And you can change the font.
Default. Radio button. Checked. Atkinson hyperlegible. Radio button. Not checked. Helvetica. Radio button. Not checked. Page format.
No, that is not all the options you get. This is just a quick setting. You can find more under the text for that.
Median margins. Book default line spacing. Large margins. 1.5 line spacing. Scrolling. Median margins. 2 line spacing. Color presets. White background. Black text. Yellow sentence highlight. Orange word highlight. Lemon background. Black text. Light blue sentence highlight. Orange word highlight. Black background. White text. Green sentence highlight. Magenta word highlight. Reset defaults. Button.
And then with the very bottom where you can reset. So that's the nice part. If you feel like I can't remember what the default was or I want to start all over, at the very bottom, you can reset to that section. So in this tab, you can reset the default to default within this tab. Let's go to the top here.
Settings.
And let's go back to the audio tab.
Close settings modal. But quick set tab. Audio tab unselected.
I'll
Tab.
double tap that.
Audio tab unselected.
Now
Audio
go to
tab
the
selected.
right here.
Tab. Text tab unselected. Page tab unselected. Color tab unselected. Audio speed.
Yes, we get the same audio speed, but there are some differences here, and I will show you.
Decrease audio speed to 80%. Increase audio speed to 120%. Selected. Set default audio speed to 100%. 100%.
And then it tells us where it's set to.
Voice.
This is where we come to change the voice.
Voice selection menu. Button.
There's a button. If you double tap that, you're going to get this really long list of all the iOS voices you can use that is built into your device. And so I had to swipe quite a bit down till I got to the Zoe Enhance and double tap that. Once you double tap that and get back out of there, you'll come to this page.
Play voice sample.
And you can do the preview of the voice itself. So if you double tap this,
Play
The
voice
quick
sample.
brown fox jumped over the lazy dog.
that gives you an idea what the book is going to sound like in using that voice.
Voicing options. Voice page numbers. Checked.
You got some options if you wanted to announce certain things or not.
Voice page numbers. Voice image descriptions. Checked. Voice image descriptions. Note, if a book from a publisher is not well formatted, some voicing options may not work well. Reset audio defaults. Button.
And then you heard that it reset the audio to default, so that's for this tab itself. And I'm not going to show you the text and the pages and the theme for low vision. That's for you to find out and to look through. There are quite a bit of different things in there, which is really great. I love that. Let's go to the top right.
Close settings modal. Button.
And double tap to close.
Close settings. Return to library.
And I'm
Button.
going to return back to the main screen. So we're done with the reader pane here, or the reader page.
Search for a great book. Text field.
And that's the last
Double
item
tap to
we
edit.
have to search, and that is the search. Now, at this time, the search is kind of simple. It is exactly what it's made for. It is made for really simple search. In my case, I have a hard time finding authors by doing a search, unless the title contains the author. Otherwise, I'm not going to find that particular author. I'll show you an example as what I'm talking about. But for now, if you do know the book title, go ahead and do one finger double tap here to begin your search.
Text field. Is editing. Search for a great book. Character mode. Insertion point at start.
I
Use
highly
the rotor to
recommend
access
using
misspelled
the
words.
Siri dictation to search for a book. And there's a reason I'm saying that. And especially if you're on a Braille display, you're going to want to use the Siri dictation to find a book. So let's go ahead and put a book that I want to search for. So I'll activate Siri here. Mosquito Coast.
Inserted Mosquito Coast. Your search results have been loaded.
Now, that's what I want to tell you about is a real-time search. So there's no search button or go button at the bottom right. It is loading up everything you have typed in. So in this case, Mosquito Coast, it should load up the results. And this will depend on your internet speed of how quickly it will get loaded up. And the simpler the term is, or I should say, if you know the exact name of it, it's going to come up quicker. Where you are putting in something like more broad word, it's going to take a little longer to load as it has more things to load. Let's go to the right and see what we got.
Cancel.
We got the cancel button. We don't want to do that quite yet. We're not done with searching.
The Mosquito Coast. Penguin Readers series by Paul Theroux. Press to read if downloaded, or view details if not downloaded.
And voila. So we now have the book Mosquito Coast.
Download the Mosquito Coast.
I can swipe to the right and I can double tap
button.
download, and that will begin downloading the book. Otherwise, if you go back left, you can double tap that to reveal the detail of the book that we saw in the recent tab, where it allows you to see the title, the author, and the synopsis of the book itself. If you want to look for series, I found that works really well too. So if you know the series that you're looking for, so let's go back to the top here.
Text field is editing.
Double
Mosquito
tap
Coast.
that again.
Insertion point at start.
Now, one note and advice here is that it does not remove what you had there before. So you'll either have to delete it. So
M-O-S.
you hear that and do
Sierra.
letter by letter. So it remembers what is in there. So I either have to go to the end and hit the delete button all the way back out, or I can use my rotor and find the edit and do select all.
Misspelled words. Edit. Select. Select all. Mosquito Coast.
And
Selected.
that way it selects it, and then whatever I type now will get rid of that. So let's find a particular series that's one of my favorite here. Cotton Malone.
Inserted Cotton Malone. Your search results have been loaded.
And voila. So let's go see here, go to the right.
Cancel. The Tudor Plot, a Cotton Malone novella, Cotton Malone, by
Yep.
Steve Berry. Download The Tudor Plot, a Cotton Malone, Books 1-4, by download Cotton Malone, The 14th Colony, Cotton Malone number 11, by Steve Berry.
Voila. So you got to see the series. So this is great and able to do that. Now, you notice it says Steve Berry, and that's the author, right? If I were to type Steve Berry, and this is the reason I say you probably want to use Siri, because you'll see what I'm talking about, and it can be bothersome for some people if they do not like how this works. And what happens is that each letter that I start typing in, it loads. So every time you start to put in another letter, it loads. So the idea is to make it quick, so you don't have to sit there and wait. And theoretically, it's supposed to define and update itself so you don't have to wait. So I think that's the idea of what they wanted to do here. So let's go to top.
Text field is edit. Insertion point
I
at start.
like that.
System font regular. 12 words. Characters. Misspelled word. Edit. Undo. Scan text. Select. Select all.
Select all.
Cotton Malone.
And
Selected.
now type in Steve Berry.
A. S. S. Selection deleted. T. T. R. Your search. E. E. Your C. V. V. R. Your E. E. Space. Space. Your search results have been C. V. B. B. E. Your search results have been loaded. R. E. E. R. Your search. R. R. Y. Y. Your search results have been loaded.
Now you see what I mean. You heard that your search result has been loaded, and it kept going over and over and over. And my understanding on the Braille display is a complete nightmare. So you probably want to avoid that and use a Siri if you want, unless that doesn't bother you. Fine. Otherwise, that would be a nice option, wouldn't it? Under settings, if you want that to be able to hit the search button, whether to autocomplete or auto search for you. Anywho, let's go to the right.
Cancel. Rick Steves Tour. Père Lachaise Cemetery. Paris. By Rick Steve. Download Rick Steves Tour. Rick Steves Walk. Larry Godick and download Rick Steves. When Steve becomes Stephanie. Download When Steve. Wallace Stevens and Pre-Socratic. Download Wallace Steve. Lone Wolf. The Remarkable Story of Britain's Greatest. Download Lone Wolf.
You see what I mean? So it doesn't really take me to the Steve Berry book, and I'm kind of bummed out about that, but hopefully in the future release of this, that it'll be easier to select from different keywords of what we're looking for, if it's author, books, or series. That would be nice to have. Otherwise, if I'm looking for Steve Berry, it's not going to be easy to find. And that is what I was talking about previously, that you'll have to know the book title and things like that. Now, there's no options here to see what books are popular, what's in most downloaded, anything like that. I hope to see that in future release as well. And for initial release, it is very simple. There's not a lot here, not a lot of bloatware that you might find in other readers. Yes, of course, Voice Dream Reader and Dolphin Easy Reader are a great alternative to Bookshare Reader. However, I do know that Voice Dream Reader is very costly, but it is probably the best of the best out there. And if you're looking for something that's a little more advanced, you probably want to take a look at the Dolphin Easy Reader, which is also free to use. And of course, if you have a Bookshare subscription, you just sign in there, and it offers a lot more features in there for you to use. This is great for low vision folks out there. It got a lot of great options, and as you see, it is great for beginners or for somebody that wants a no-nonsense app. Just get to the book, start reading it, and I mean, what better can you get? I hope to see a lot of voiceover options in the future as well. As in, right now, when you read the book, you have to do one finger double tap on the play, one finger double tap again to pause. What you don't have is a magic tap, and we're so used to that when it comes to media. You do a two-finger tap, and it'll start the book, two-finger double tap again to stop the book. But in this case, if you do that, it's going to play whatever media that you were last using, so it doesn't do anything to the Bookshare Reader itself. There's no actions, which means I can't swipe it up and down in a lot of areas. That would make things a lot quicker and easier, more efficient if that was the case. And then lastly, every time I want to go back a page, the two-finger scrub does not work either. So there are a lot more swiping than I'd like to do, but not a deal breaker. It is free, and it's a great option for Bookshare users out there. And this is Bookshare Reader. My name is Thomas Donville, also known as Nanomouse. Until next time, bye-bye.
This AppleVis podcast has been brought to you by the community of applevis.com. For the latest in resources and tips and tricks to get you the best experience from your Apple device, visit www.applevis.com.